What is up, guys? Welcome to another epic tutorial here at Poly Academy Tutorials. Today we're going to look at how to make a really nice little low poly scene. Low poly's been around for quite some time now, but still remains really popular. A lot of people want to know how to do this, they don't know how to do it, so let's jump right in. So as you can see here, I've set up a little example scene. We've got a little ocean with the shipping containers, water, and if you actually play it, it's animated or it moves. So let's jump right in. Okay, so we're gonna delete this for now. We can always remake it. Start fresh, get rid of these. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to start with a simple cube. Zoom out here and set this Y dimension, which is how tall it is, to about 24 or so. That's looking alright. Maybe 22. There we go. And if you can, change your display settings to the Scarrad Shadings lines. That'll help us a lot with figuring out all the vertices. And if you can, let's change our, under object for the cube, change our segments to about 20. Change these to about 6 or so, maybe 4, 5. 4 looks good. And then change this to about 20 as well. And these will give us the points to create that fractured low poly look. If you can, let's head over to our deformer things. Not too sure what these are called, but I think they're called deformers. Let's head over to a displacer, and what we're going to do is we're going to select our displacer and drag it onto the cube so a little arrow shows down, and that displacer now becomes a child of the cube. Now under shading, we can select the noise channel, and it'll create that bumpy look. But if you can see, it's super smooth. Well, not super smooth, but it's smooth. It's not really the low poly look we're going for. So that's because of our Phong tag here. Now the Phong tag basically rounds out all your models. So if we get rid of that, we can now start to see the low poly vibe going on. Okay, cool. So if we double one click into our noise, there's more than one noise texture. There's a whole different bunch of them. What we're going to want to use today, I think, is simple turbulence, or maybe wavy turbulence. I think we'll just stick to turbulence for now. Okay, epic. And if we click back on our displacer, we'll go out back to the normal tabs. If we click on our object, we can now change the strength and the height of the noise displacer onto our cube here. Obviously, the higher the strength, the more displacement we're going to get, as well as the actual height of the displacement. It'll give us a real fractured look. If you're looking for a diamond or a rough rock kind of vibe, you could stop right here. If not, change that back down to about 5. Let's stick back to 10. Epic. Okay, now let's duplicate this by clicking on our cube. Control C, Control V, simple. Drag that down beneath it. Just make sure that we now have 2 layers to work with. So if we double click on this, we can name this one water and this one sand. Oopsie. When I can spell. We want to drag our sand below the water just because that's the way I like to work. Make sure that it is not a child and they are both their own parent with their own child displacer. Let's create some materials quick. This one we'll call, water. Will give us a nice light Bahama blue color, a little bit darker, epic. And we want to add some reflection because water reflects sunlight. And under our texture, we're going to create simple Fresnel, not too shiny. And then we also want to add some transparency to our water. As you know, water is see-through. That's looking good. And now under here, we'll name this one sand. And we want to get rid of the specular. We don't want it to shine too much. And here we want to create a simple, nice light brown for our sand. Job done. Now what we can do is we can drag the textures onto our layers, and look at that. If we give this a quick render, we can slowly see it starting to come out. Look at that. Okay, as we can see, the water is a bit too transparent for my liking, so I go back into our transparency, bump that down a bit. There we go. And we'll actually lift this water layer up a smidge, and that's looking good. Let's darken the color a bit. Go more into like a mid-Atlantic light blue, Pacific blue. Epic. Okay, the next thing we want to do is also, to get that nice low poly look, is set up your camera and change it to isometric view. Now when we go into isometric view, this is a different drawing style. It is, as its name, isometric, and this is how, well, some people create that really nice low poly feel. It also gives you a sense of scale, as everything seems a little bit smaller when perfectly drawn in the isometric view. I don't know about you, but I need a bit of a holiday, so let's create a little island for our ocean. So if we head over, let's create, what are we going to work with? Let's work with a little landscape for now. Let's get out of our camera, drag up our land, let's turn our camera off in the viewfinder by double clicking on the first dots and make sure that this robot light is red. Let's drag our landscape up a bit, and let's scale it down. And we drag that back down into our ocean. Let's give it some height and submerge it in. And that's starting to look good. Now what we want to do is we want to drop the amount of polygons in our landscape here. So let's change the width segments to about 25 by 25, and that'll create a nice low poly look for this landscape. We can also change the rough furrows down and the fine furrows down as well. Okay, if we want to change our plateau level, we could drag that up. That'll give us a more centered, level island top. Let's create some land. Create this a nice dark grey color. I'm feeling as if this is a volcanic creation. Drop that on. Let's get rid of the specular. No, we want a bit of specular. I'm sure lava rock is a bit shiny. That's starting to look good. Let's create a few trees for the top now. Throw in a platonic. Scale it way down. Drag this up. And scale it down again. That's starting to look good. Let's position it above the island. Drop it down. Where do we want to add this? Right at the top. Epic. Let's create a little greenery. Head over to our color texture. That's starting to look good. Throw that onto our platonic. Epic. So now let's create the trunk. Let's head over to cylinder. Now let's scale this way down again. Let's move this out. scale down. Let's actually go into our frontal view. Here we could actually see what's happening. Drag that in, scale it down, make it editable by selecting this icon here. Undo that quick. Now what we want to do quickly is change the amounts of sides or vertices of our cylinder. So let's go ahead and get rid of the Phong tag quickly and change the rotation segments to about 8 or 9. That should work. Height segments, you should add in about 6 of those as well, and drag it up to our tree point. Whoopsie. Let's add it up to the top. Let's throw our platonic treetop onto there. Scale it down a little bit. That's starting to look good. Add that to the center, it's a bit OCD. Drag that up as well, and let's give it a bit of a rotation just to add some variance. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same to our island. So we're going to add a displacer to the cylinder, add in noise shader. Let's try one of these surfaces. Let's go with earth. Okay, that doesn't work. Let's stick with, well, I've used one of these before. So cloud seems good. What we're going to do is go back to our object, change the strength down to about 3, the height down to about 3 as well, or 6% for strength. Let's create a nice tree bark color. That seems good. Do a nice cartoony brown. Add that in. Epic. So if we zoom back out into our normal camera, this is what our scene is starting to look like. Let's give this one final render and see what it looks like. And this is what we end up with. If we zoom in, you can see we have a nice little volcanic rock formation and a little tree growing on top, because nature always wins, nature rocks. One final thing I want to show you guys is something really epic. If you want to animate the water, go back into our displacer, go to our shading options, click into the shading, and what we have here is this speed tab. If you set that up to about 80%, hit play on your timeline, you can actually see the water moving, and these points are just randomly rotating to create a nice, awesome effect, especially with this water here. It looks really nice. Not sure what it would look like in anything else, but yeah. Thanks again for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, like the video. Any positive or negative feedback would be greatly appreciated. Thanks again for watching. See you guys soon.